Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
What is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day. Whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz, look, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So please do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. On today's convo, look, we're going to talk aftermath of the recent redistricting that went down in my home state of Virginia. It's made national news, and we're going to talk about it here on the show. In addition to that, a longtime Congressman, David Scott, I believe out of Georgia, has sadly passed away at the age of 80. He will be making the fifth member of Congress to pass during this term. He was seeking a re-election in Congress, and we'll talk more in that as well. Also, longtime member of the Democratic Party, lawyer, famous of being a lawyer of Jeffrey Epstein, Alan Dershowitz, is no longer a Democrat. He is now registered as a Republican after, again, being a part of the Democratic Party for 67 years. So what is his reasons? What is his reasons to, publicly announce that he is switching parties? Well, we're going to talk about it and more here on the show. As always, thank you so much, my friends, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to chime into the conversation. As you know, we drop new episodes weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, as well as wherever you get your podcasts. So iHeart, Spotify, Apple, just to name a few. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. You can also chime into the show on Goatverse TV. All you have to do is download the app, the Goatverse TV app. It's available on the App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, as well as Amazon Fire TV. And you can also listen to the Arrington Gavin Show on the radio airwaves. If you happen to be in these cities like Las Vegas, be sure to turn your radio dial to KSHP 1400 AM and 107.1 FM. You can listen in Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific time only on KSHP 1400 AM or 107.1 FM. Then we're going to head over to the Metro Atlanta area, that is, to WDJY 99.1 FM. So be sure, if you're in your car and you're just traveling or just driving around or leaving an event, hey, look, be sure to turn that radio dial to WDJY 99.1 FM to the Arrington Gavin Show, where it can be heard weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then lastly, if you happen to be in the New Orleans area, be sure to turn your radio dial to WBOK 1230 AM, where you can listen to the Arrington Gavin Show every night, weeknights, Monday through Fridays at 7 p.m. Central Time. Again, that's only on WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about. All right, my friends. Well, let's go ahead and and also too, before I move forward, be sure, if you have not done so yet, be a subscriber to our YouTube channel. It's awesome, filled with so many great content shows and so much great content, as well as our shows on demand. So if you happen to miss it in real time, be sure to check it out on our YouTube channel. Or if you subscribe, you can also get notified of when the episodes dropped and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's awesome. We hope to give you some more. We have some live specials on that as well. And we hope to give you some more great content on the Arrington Gavin Show YouTube channel. We have a goal to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We continue to grow each and every day with our subscribers. So please help us get on that goal. And share with a friend, share with family. I truly appreciate it if you can do so. You can also follow us on social media platforms, Instagram, Where else are we on? We're on X and the X is AG Show Live. Okay, on X. You can also check us out on Substack, Facebook. I mentioned Instagram already. Yes, those are the platforms. Then you can also check us out on our wonderful website, www.theagshow.com. www.theagshow.com. You can email me if you want to reach out and just want to say hi. I mean, I appreciate all form of dialogue with our listeners and viewers, so I truly appreciate all that stuff. All right, my friends, how's everyone doing this evening? I hope you all are having a wonderful or had a wonderful day. So much stuff to chime into. As you know, it was a busy period out here in Virginia because we had this very popular redistricting that went down to kind of backtrack everything before we get going with the meat and potatoes. The redistricting was brought up by majority of the Democrats, Virginia Democrats, responding to the Trump administration, who started to go around to other states like Texas asking for some extra seats because he wanted more power. And the House is really at it's a very slim, very, very slim majority that the Republicans have. So he was calling up to try and get some more seats, right? That's what you call gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is not a sexy thing whatsoever. No one likes it. I'm not a fan of it. And so it's not likable, but it went down in Texas, Missouri, Florida, North Carolina. He tried to do it in Kentucky, but they said no, which was very, very. I respect the decision from Kentucky being a majority red state. They said absolutely not. We're not doing that. I feel like I'm blanking on another because there was 5 in total. But Virginia said absolutely not, and they said, well, look, since we have the majority, a Democratic majority, let's try and get us some seats, huh? Since he started, we're gonna finish it. So that was their job, even though this was a nonpartisan referendum. Realistically, it was very partisan because you had all the memorabilia. I already threw all my mailers away. I had a total of like 7 different pieces of mailer, maybe even more than that. Yeah, I think it was more. Yeah, I had way more than that from both sides. I had mostly no's, then I had the yeses. It was a lot. I think I put a post on social media saying I feel like it's like collecting Pokemon cards now. I mean, hey, you got some no's. Oh, that's a new no right there. I didn't get that. What about that? Yes. That vote, yes. Oh, that's a new one right there. That got okay. Yeah, let me get that. Let me get this. I'll trade you this for that. It was a lot. And then, of course, not including all the commercial ads you had, endorsements. We had the former President Barack Obama speak on it. Sitting Governor Abigail Spanberger spoke on it, endorsing yes and encouraged folks to vote yes. Former Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger, I believe Adam's out of Texas or Colorado, one of the two. He spoke against it as well, and it was intense. So we're going to talk more about that, man, because now that it has been, the referendum is over. Virginia cast their vote. They end up deciding to vote yes by very, very slim. It was very close, but Virginia Democrats might have a little or those that voted saying yes, it might have some issues there. So we're going to talk about it here on the show. But before that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Do not go anywhere and don't change that dial. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. We will be right back.
What's up, y'all? Welcome.
And we still in traffic.
I don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up. Yeah, this that new Goat Verse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of the app he said?
Introducing GoatVerse TV.
GoatVerse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In GOATs, we trust.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story, crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit, and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together, we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs, and we're gonna bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore, bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today. Visit www.dapperluke.com.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
rugged is the new smooth.
All right, my friends, welcome back to the show. Before we get going with some more of our topics that we shared early in the show, last episode, I ended off with this question. As you know, I'm a huge wrestling fan. I have been since I was a kid. I fell off, right? I'm not as involved in, like, I understand wrestling, but professional wrestling, that is. But I'm getting back into it slowly but surely, right? When I have free time, I'm like, oh, let me turn onto some Attitude Era or, the OG, the Ruthless Aggression Era, even. But I'm liking what I'm seeing, currently, right? It's very entertaining. It's extremely profitable for those who are a part of wrestling. These wrestlers are self-made millionaires after, a few years, right? And it's a lot. But anyway, so WWE recently had WrestleMania 42 that was held in Las Vegas, hosted by the former champ, newly retired professional wrestler John Cena. And so many things happened that is doesn't really raise questions. Well, it actually does. For one, the attendance was extremely low compared to previous ones. So this was held in Las Vegas. I'm looking here in the past 4 WrestleManias, their average, I would say, was at least 72,000 plus. Now, one thing that wrestling has started for me, that's I'm still getting familiar with, is that WrestleMania is not for one night, is for 2 nights, Saturdays and Sundays. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the whole 2-night thing. I get it. I get the logic. Hey, we're making double the profit, in these pay-per-views, and it's even longer. But I mean, I'm talking pay-per-view nows are like 3+ hours long. I mean, it's so long. And the tickets are crazy expensive. Like, wrestling used to be for like the everyday people to come, and look, you do have everyday people come, but I mean, these tickets are insane. I've yet to go to a live WWE event. I have gone to at least a current one, and when I was a kid, I went to one, but I recently went to like an AEW, and those tickets weren't that expensive. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't that expensive compared to WWE. That being said, yes, attendance was quite low. This one they had, I think in night one they had over 42,000, almost 43,000 in attendance. Night two they had around 43,000 plus that attended. Now WrestleMania is the biggest show, biggest pay-per-view of all time, so they really expected more, but they did not get that out of that recent WrestleMania. Let me read you a little bit of just the card they had. So night one, you had the Usos and LA King defeat the Vision and I Show Speed, the influencer, the very famous influencer. They gave, I'm on, by the way, sbnation.com, where they graded each of the matches. So that first match I just shared was a grade C. Jacob Fatu defeats Drew McIntyre, gave it a B-. Bria Bella and Paige defeated the in Irresistible Forces, Charlotte Flair and Alex Bliss and Bailey and Lori Valkyria. I think that's how you pronounce it. They gave that grade a D. Now, a few of those people I really don't know of. But I'm not going to read all these matches, but I rarely see, I see some Fs. Okay. Night two. They had higher grades, so I guess night two was almost like their main event day. But it's interesting. It just is very interesting. But set aside from that, and also too, Ric Flair's on social media saying he was banned from attending WrestleMania because he threatened a 24-year-old, the boyfriend of a popular wrestler on their circuit now. He made a thief threat, and so they banned him last for WrestleMania 42. First of all, Ric Flair is going to continue to be Ric Flair. Ric Flair could care less. Ric Flair is extremely lucky to be alive. That man has lived the rock star life for a long, long, long time, and still is to this day. Due to his popularity and that name, he will forever have some money in the bank because, come on, when you do that, you cannot, even if you're not a wrestling fan, you're gonna have the mindset saying, "Oh, that came from Ric Flair." Like, it's just he's that popular. Anyway, so those are just two juicy, those couple of things, insights about WrestleMania. But the reason why I brought this up very quickly, because I don't want to spend too much time on this. A person had found a follow-up with John Cena on foot outside of the I think this was after the WrestleMania event, and asked him this question. This was on TMZ. Here, let me share this clip with you guys.
Transgender wrestler.
I'm a storyteller, my friend, and that's what we do in WWE. And it doesn't. It's not segregated to sex, race, creed, religion, any of that. So as long as the story is good, it belongs in WWE.
That's wonderful. I appreciate that. That's very good insight. Do you think WWE is ready for a transgender wrestler?
I'm a storyteller, my friend, and that's what we do in WWE. And it doesn't. It's not segregated to sex, race, creed, religion, any of that. So as long as the story is good, it belongs in WWE.
Said like a true face for the WWE. I mean, John Cena, what a beautiful answer. John said, "You know what? I'm a storyteller. If it flows with the story, I'm for it because we accept all races, creeds, religion. We don't discriminate. And I'm a storyteller at the end of the day." I mean, couldn't give off a better answer. But I ask you all the question, though. Is the WWE ready for a transgender wrestler? Are they ready? My thought process is, back in the day, they used to have men versus women. If you don't recall, these are for all you wrestling heads out there. China, the 8th wonder of the world, or the 9th wonder of the world, was her nickname. She was a powerhouse. She was wrestling with the guys, okay? Some of these older, but the Fabulous Moolah, Who else wrestled with the guy? It was so many other Jacqueline wrestled against men. I mean, so many folks had wrestled against guys, and so I say all that to say it wouldn't hurt, but you know what I mean? Like it wouldn't. I don't think it would be. It would be a great story for one, because I'm just picturing, the storyline of the relationship, because wrestling is a soap opera. You can they have love triangles, they have cheating ones, they have lie to cheat, steal, all the whole 9 yards, right? Loves, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Well, maybe not the drugs, but they throw in a little bit of everything in wrestling. So I don't think it'll be that bad. I really don't think it'll be that bad. They've brought in so many outside celebrities now involving in wrestling. I mean, come on, we look at the stardom, look at the popularity of Logan Paul, look at the popularity of I Show Speed, look at the popularity of all of these former athletes, Olympic athletes, Olympians, now entering into the in the wrestling stage. Look at Jelly Roll, for crying out loud. Jelly Roll lose over 200 pounds, and this man out here, bouncing off of freaking tables and whatnot. I mean, he's a full-time wrestler at this point. Wrestling alongside with Randy Orton. I mean, it is quite entertaining, and it is something that is always, wow, I didn't know this was, that's one thing. Wrestling is always going to keep you on your toes where you never saw it coming, and I love it. So, final thought on this, I think yes. Now, I'm gonna look up. Let me see if I can look up very quickly if there is currently a transgender wrestler that exists in the world of professional wrestling. I want to say yes. And I think I think they're a luchadorian, which is professional wrestlers that mainly compete like in Mexico. Sometimes masked, sometimes unmasked. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Okay, let me see here. Okay, awesome. So I just looked up. Now I just used ChatGPT really quickly with this. I asked, is there transgender pro wrestlers that exist? They say yes, there are several transgender wrestlers who have competed in major promotions on the indie scene. So one, Nyla Rose, now notable transgender pro. Now she's one of the most prominent transgender pro wrestlers. Let me make sure this is accurate too, because I'm not always putting all my faith with chat. Let me just very quickly, and I said I wasn't gonna spend too much time on this, but now it got me thinking. Let's see here. Yep. She, in 2019, she became the first openly transgender wrestler to sign with a major promotion. So yes. So we have Nyla Rose, former women's world champion. We have Sunny Kiss, a gender fluid wrestler, not strictly transgender, but part of the, so that doesn't count. Giselle Shaw competed in Impact Wrestling, which used to be TNA. And then I think those are the only two for sure. So they do exist, but on other promotions, not the WWE. So that's why the question was brought to that. So we'll see on that. We'll talk more on that one. That's it. I think that's an interesting one to keep. Let me fast forward y'all to this. And I don't know if you heard the recent sad news about the congressman out of Georgia, Georgia Democratic Congressman David Scott. I'm going to read this off of Politico, but let me go ahead and also share this with you on our page. So it's extremely sad to hear about this because, for one, you know, it's always an emotional moment when you see a civil servant who has, served his constituents, served his community, a leader, right? Long time congressman, which I know he will receive the proper tributes from his colleagues. But let me just read you a little bit about this. Representative David Scott died at the age of 80, according to Representative Gregory Meeks, a Democrat out of New York, who disclosed his death at a committee hearing recently, and a number of other lawmakers. The first elected to the state assembly in Georgia in 1974, Scott's career politics spanned decades. The 12-term lawmaker became the first black chair of the House Powerful Agricultural Committee when he was tapped to lead the panel in 2020. Now, his death leaves Congress at a 218 Republican and 218 Republicans and a 212 Democrats, with 5 vacancies. Now, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, a Republican, will have 10 days to call a special election to fill the vacancy in the deep blue seat. Scott is the fifth sitting House member to die this congressional term period, following Doug LaMoffa, Republican out of California, Raul Grijalva, Democrat out of Arizona, Sylvester Turner, Democrat out of Texas, and Jerry Connolly out of Virginia, Democrat out of Virginia. Now, here's why I'm a little frustrated, and I will say, and this is why I get so ticked off in regards to term limits, as well as we have to do it out with the old, in with the new, because David Scott was seeking re-election. He announced that he was seeking a re-election. Even as his health was declining, he still was pursuing to seek re-election. To me, I feel as though that's a disservice to constituents and to voters. There have been a number of elected officials who have been ill, sick, that's still serving, or that is seeking re-elections. I mean, I'll be honest. Jerry Connolly was sick. I believe he was battling cancer when he had sadly passed. Let's see here. Yeah, he was diagnosed with cancer. And look, I get it. If you're in the midst of your term and you say, "Hey, look, I need to seek treatment. This is going to be tough, but I'm still going to pursue." I get that, because there's some folks that have the good outcomes, and they do their treatment. It takes them down, but they can still maneuver to do their work because they have staff that can kind of hold the fort down slightly. But I just feel as though at the end of the day, 4 Democrats, by the way, those 4 Democrats out of the 5 I just named had all passed. Sylvester Turner out of Texas, I believe he was a former mayor of Houston. He was ill. He was sick, and he sadly passed, I believe, the day after one of Trump's State of the Union addresses. Now, for me, I'm like, he was sick during his campaign trail. He was. Like, I'm sorry, y'all, but something has to be said. There has to be some limit to where, this man served 12 terms. Now, I get it. I get it. Well, he served 12 terms. He's so mad, why don't you run? Or, if other folks are mad, why won't they run? Here's the thing that I've noticed. There are other people that try to run. But the way the game works, they're going to support an incumbent, especially a long-time elected official, because they have all the the money, they have all the support, and no one wants to be that person to be like, I think it's time. You served your time, but I think I'm gonna vote you out. Like, no one wants to be that person because it's all about the team, it's all about the game. So they're gonna support their own. I mean, give me a break. We have Maxine Waters out of California running for re-election. Isn't she like 86? You got 85-year-old James Clyburn out of South Carolina running for re-election, 85 years old. Again, there was a picture of the late David Scott turning in his paperwork for re-election in a wheelchair. And I'm sorry, but he looked ill. He looked frail. He looked ill. All right. And again, I thank him so much for his service. He had made so many historic accomplishments and achievements during his career in Congress. But it's sad for me to see somebody pass away while they're serving in Congress. I love to see folks retire after a certain period and then enjoy life. Like, don't die doing the job. I get it. You die doing what you enjoy to do, fighting for the people. I get it. But I just feel as though, when I look at politicians, again, I'm gonna just say like Adam Kinzinger. Adam Kinzinger I don't think he's 50 yet. He might be mid to late 40s. He did his, maybe 10-ish years, maybe 10 years in Congress. And I don't think he's thinking about pursuing anytime soon. Right now, he's doing his own thing in the media space. But I feel like that's a solid number, right? I don't think 12 terms is a lot. Look, we have longtime people in Congress. Congressman Bobby Scott, still very sharp. Don't get me wrong. 78 years old. He's been in Congress since like 93. 1993, he's been in Congress. We're in 2026. And every time somebody tries to come and run, Democrats were not going to try and run against Bobby Scott. I'm going to just say that right now. But every time there's somebody else, they're like, why even try? Mark Warner. He's not an old timer, but he's been in office for quite some time. Still very sharp, but he's around 71. He'll be seeking his fourth term, I believe, as a U.S. Senator, which a senator is a 6-year term. So you do the math on the amount of years. It's a lot. Says here, Scott had faced criticism for seeking re-election in 2024, even as declining health impaired his ability to negotiate. Okay, so his health already prohibit him from doing his job. Negotiate a $1.5 trillion farm bill. Scott was also seeking re-election to his Atlanta area district later this year. He was already facing a number of primary challengers, including State Representative Jasmine Clark, who had far outraised him this cycle. David Scott quoted that in more than 2 decades in Congress, he served the people of he served the people of Georgia's 13th district with unwavering dedication and honor. This was from Clark. I apologize. Clark said in a statement recently, he leaves behind a legacy woven into the very fabric of our community, our state, and our nation. So look, everybody had the utmost respect for him. Scott also spent 20 years as a Georgia state senator before his election to the House in 2002, rising to a senior post on the Chamber Financial Service Committee, along with his role on agriculture. Again, y'all, extremely sad to hear about this, but I think it's even more sad that this is now the 5th member of Congress that has passed during this term. Just think on that. Just think on that, y'all. Oh boy. I mean, I'm sorry, but just, and not saying like he was already ill, but I think there needs to be some form of there needs to be some rules here. I'm sorry, there just needs to be some rules. Term limits for one, and if they're at a certain, health, it needs to be something. So you got folks passing, and then you got folks getting expelled. I mean, you got 3 that are resigning. One of them is facing, 2, because I think someone's trying to counter. I think Corey Mills is trying to counter the expulsion back to Nancy Mace, which Nancy Mace is not paying any mind. She's getting ready to run for she's already currently running for governor of South Carolina. So it's so much stuff happening, y'all, with that. In other news, I don't know if y'all heard about this. So let me see if I can. Okay, let me bring that up right here. So I saw this on social media and I was like, no, say it ain't so. So apparently there were a number of candidates who were fined and suspended for insider trading on their own races. Now, this is reported by NBC News. Kalshi fines and suspends 3 politicians for insider trading on their own races. The fines range from $539 to more than $6,200, and the suspensions are set to last 5 years. Now, let me go ahead and share this clip here with you all, because one of the 3 candidates is a familiar face to the show here.
Tonight, the prediction market company Kalshi has suspended 3 politicians for insider trading, essentially betting on themselves in their own elections. Brian Tung joins us now. And Brian, each politician has been fined and suspended. This is wild.
Yeah, Tom, this is questions swirl around these market platforms like Kalshi and Polymarket. Ezekiel Enriquez, Matt Klein, and Mark Moran allegedly bet roughly $100 each on their own candidacies for Congress in markets where thousands of dollars were trading. Moran telling NBC News he admits to insider trading, but says it was to call attention to manipulation in prediction markets. NBC News did not hear back from the other 2. The 3 are banned from the platform for 5 years, and the fines range from $539 to more than $6,200. In a statement, Kalshi said the bans demonstrate their commitment to policing all types of unfair or improper trading on their platform. Tom.
I mean, wow. So let me go ahead again and talk a little bit about that. So Mark Moran is no stranger to the show. He's actually considered a friend to the show. He's been on not one but twice. At the time, the first time, he was a candidate running in the Democratic primary, hoping to unseat Mark Warner, longtime U.S. Senator. And then Moran had put out a video on his social media saying that he has left the Democratic Party and he will be running as an independent. He was openly, while he was still in the Democratic primary, he was against the redistricting, the gerrymandering, which again was a, you could put a toss up there. In addition to that, he was against the recent gun bills that were being passed in the Commonwealth. So for somebody that was trying to win over Democrats in Virginia, it's hard. I'll just be very blunt, honest. You look at some of the founding members or just the elites in the Democratic Party. Mark Warner is one of those elites. Ain't nobody voted him. You got Warner, Tim Kaine, Luis Lucas. I'll even throw in House Speaker Don Scott in that mix. Those are some extremely powerful individuals there. So you got President pro tempore Luis Lucas, arguably the most powerful woman in the state of Virginia, outside of obviously the I think she has more popularity than the governor, to be honest, be frank. No disrespect to Abigail Spanberger, but Abigail, your approval ratings are dropping right now. So you got some work to do. But Luis is extremely popular. House Speaker again is very popular. And then I go to Mark Warner and Tim Kaine. But Mark Warner is a senior senator, and it was during that Democratic primary, I knew, and I told Mark, he has a uphill battle. He's a young guy, former Wall Street guy, and a reality star. You're not even 40. What do why do you think you have what it takes to beat or have what it takes to to unseat Mark Warner in the Democratic primary? Now, don't get me wrong, give him respect, because I'm all for a new face and new blood. Mark Warner has been a iconic figure, prolific figure in the Democratic Party. It not just in Virginia, but nationwide, but also a prolific person in politics. And so I think it was around that time where it's like, okay, why can't you just clear a pathway for someone new, and maybe be some form of like a let me help guide, mentor, something like that. But hey, he decided he wants to run for election. He has the right to do so. Now, Mark coming out running as independent, I have more respect, even more, because I'm like, okay, boom, now you have somebody who's really competing against Warner, and you have a chance to be on the ballot, because if strategy wise, most likely it was looking like you were going to lose during the primary. And so if you do that, your chances are gone. But now you have stronger chances as a independent. It's going to be hard because independents really don't win in the state of Virginia. I wish they did. Local races are considered nonpartisan, but at the end of the day, these candidates are endorsed by either the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. Now, let me continue to read a little bit of this article to you. So, Prediction Markets, Kalshi, said recently that it had fined and suspended 3 political candidates for trading on their own races during primary campaigns. Now, just like a traditional financial markets, bad actors will try to cheat. Kalshi said in a statement, these 3 cases are an example of how developing proactive engineering solutions can help identify illicit trading activity. Now, I think this is pretty gutsy on these candidates, because especially I think majority of them were all 3 of them I think 1 was Republican and 2 were one was Republican and 2 were Democrats. And it's just gutsy because one of the biggest question is insider trading, corruption, making money while you're in, like, it's like, what were you thinking? Kalshi described the action taken by the politicians as a political insider trading. Their words, not mine. The fines, as I mentioned, range from $539 to more than $6,200, while suspensions for Kalshi are set to last 5 years. Now, candidates include Matt Klein, who is running in the Democratic primary for Minnesota's 2nd Congressional District, Ezekiel Enriquez, who ran in the Republican primary for Texas 21st Congressional District, and then Mark Moran, who is running in the Democratic primary for a U.S. Senate seat in Virginia. But then he changed that because he's now running as an independent. Moran told NBC News he purposely placed the bet, explaining in an interview, absolutely, I did this $100 bet. I have no intentions of doing this further. This is simply to call attention to the fact that an entire election can be bought. I would love to. I'm gonna reach out to Mark, and I'm gonna receive, try and get a statement from him, because this statement just seems in like Mark Moran's fashion. That's why I'm just kind of chuckling. But if I was his manager or advisor, I would be like, okay, bro, you don't need to prove anything. It exists because it's being brought up a lot. It exists. There are documents that show, okay, how do these people that come in making I'm gonna just say a little over 200 grand a year, and they leave out with 22 million in the bank. Come on, it's not, it's not rocket science. So I I understand you're trying to prove a point, but it's a huge gamble. Now, you then went on to say any candidate with enough money can sway prediction markets, he said. Meanwhile, Klein said he was curious about how prediction markets work and did not realize he was violating any rule at the time. Right, Mark, right. He wrote on X saying, I set up an account and bet $50 on my own funds that I would win the primary. I was informed in March of 2026 that this was a violation of the platform rules. In compliance with their request, I paid a penalty and agreed to be suspended from the platform. That was the only wager I have ever made on prediction markets. This was my mistake and I apologize. Okay, bet he apologized. Now I didn't get an apology out of Mark. Enriquez did not immediately return requests for comment. Now, Enriquez finished in 11th place in the March Republican primary when Trump endorsed Mark Teixeira, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, ran away with the nomination. Now, in Virginia, Moran dropped his Democratic primary campaign against Senator Mark Warner and instead is running as an independent. Look, he's been on this major media tour on other platforms where as a independent candidate, and they're very large ones. I will say they're very large ones, and I think it will be an interesting race to watch. I know some folks are saying, oh my gosh, it's going to be a out of the park win for Warner, but I always say like this, y'all, you just never know. You just never know because you don't know what's going to be what are the people saying? What is Virginia saying? Are they saying it's time for some new blood? Are they going to say, no, Mark is doing a great job, we want to keep him in there? You'll never know. And final comment on this one, Kalshi said the two of these cases were settlements, but one was a disciplinary action. The disciplinary action was taken against Moran. Kalshi said the candidate acknowledged that these trades were improper and in violation of Kalshi Exchange rules, but repeatedly refused to resolve this matter via settlement and stopped responding to further correspondence. Moran was fined $6,229.30. Yeah, we're going to get a comment from him. Let's go ahead and take another break, y'all. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. Do not go anywhere and do not change that dial.
6'10", number one pick, 16 seasons, college player of the year, all-rookie standout. Joe Smith built a career on grit, consistency, and showing up.
Greatness isn't just about the game. It's about how you show up every day. Rugged Evolution now offers body care products for every man, because not every man wears a beard, but every man deserves care. Greatness doesn't fade.
It evolves. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Every beard deserves to be legendary, and every man deserves care.
Hey, Dad, want to go for a walk?
Well, that'll help me get my steps in for the day. Gotta stay healthy and strong.
Bet you're healthier than me.
I'd like to keep it that way. Doc says I need to walk 10,000 steps a day. How long is that?
Don't know. How about you tell me a story instead of counting steps?
I could tell you about the house my father and uncle built for us.
That's a couple of thousand steps right there.
Staying connected keeps you going strong. Learn ways to stay happy, active, and independent at cdc.gov/stillgoingstrong.
All right, family. Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. We got some more to wrap up here. Really quick. Alan Dershowitz, who is the former attorney for Jeffrey Epstein. He was also on the an attorney to Donald Trump during all those 34 counts and all those cases that he was in and out of the courtroom during his when he wasn't in office. He has been now he has said that he is no longer a Democrat after being a part of the Democratic Party for 67 years, y'all. 67 years. So you're probably already going to be saying, wait, what is the deal? Why the change? Why the change of scenery? Why is he switching to now be a registered Republican? Now, I'll be honest, it was no shocker when I heard that he was a Republican. He has spoken so much against the Democratic Party for somebody being a Democrat. He was speaking most of the time against the Democratic Party. So this is reported here by Mediaite. Former Jeffrey Epstein lawyer Alan Dershowitz announced recently that he would be registering as a Republican for the first time in his life after 37 years as a registered Democrat. Now, in an op-ed piece of the Wall Street Journal entitled "Why I'm Becoming a Republican," he announced that he was joining the Republican Party in protest over the opposition to Israel among some members of the Democratic Party. He said, "I'm a lifelong Democrat. I started campaigning for the party's local candidates as a teenager in Brooklyn. Have been a registered Democrat for 67 years. Made speeches for JFK as a college student, and can count on one hand the number of Republicans I've ever supported for any office. Yet I've decided to bite the bullet and register as a Republican." The former Epstein lawyer and Harvard law professor explained that while he strongly opposes the Republican Party policies on abortion, immigration, healthcare, taxes, and other major issues, the Democratic Party was no longer sufficiently supportive of Israel and would therefore not be receiving his vote. Alan, why not just be an independent? Because you literally just named one issue from the Democratic Party, but you named several issues of the Republican Party that you don't agree with, but yet you're registering as a uh, um Republican. So I just think that's quite interesting. I think it's more lucrative for him. In all honesty, most of the publications he's on is conservative outlets and conservative media. He supported he's a supporter of Donald Trump. I guess you can call him a Trump, what's he called? Trumpocrat. That's what former Illinois governor Rob Blagojevich considers himself, because he's still a registered Democrat, but he's a Trumpocrat. His word, not mine. Citing recent vote for weapons embargo against Israel, which received the support of all but seven Senate Democrats, as well as polls which showed a growing opposition to Israel among Democrats of all ages. Now, Dershowitz claimed that the Democratic Party had become the most anti-Israel party in the U.S. history. So he said, "I intend to work hard to prevent the Democrats from gaining control of the House and Senate." Whoo, that's deep right there. "I will contribute money to Republican candidates, campaign for them, and make speeches at Republican events, and urge pro-Israel Americans to change party affiliations or at least vote against Democrats. Until something changes, I will vote Republican for representative, Senate, and president." While Dershowitz defended President Trump as a member of his legal team, which I mentioned earlier, during his first impeachment in 2020, the lawyer endorsed former President Joe Biden in 2020 and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in 2008. He previously announced his departure from the party to become an independent in 2024. Okay, so he pulled off with Tulsi Gabbard, because Tulsi Gabbard was a former Democratic elected official out of Hawaii, and she again did the same old thing what that Dershowitz did. She was making her money as a contributor on Fox News. She was on there the longest, talking against the party that she was still registered under, that she was elected under, and then said, "You know what, I'm leaving the party, becoming independent." As I mentioned, she was an independent for about a weekend, and then she went on to become a Republican, and now she's serving under the Trump administration for I mean, I don't know how long she's going to be serving under there, because so many people are either resigning or getting fired, or I mean, it's just, I don't know how long she's going to be in administration. Long story short, so we'll see how long she lasts with them. But going back to Dershowitz, it says here, let me see any other new things I want to add to that. No, so I guess my questions to you all is Alan Dershowitz the only individual that has the same mindset? Have you all, I'm talking to my listeners now, listeners and those that are tuning into this episode, have y'all had the same thought process of Alan Dershowitz? Have y'all been tired of, are y'all tired of the party that you currently are registered under, whether that's left or right? Are you guys tired? Are you against what the Democratic Party is doing currently? Are you against the Republican Party, what they're doing? Are you leaving, do you want to come to the center? Right? I'm very, very curious, because this is not like a foreign story here. This is not out of the norm. This is starting to be the new norm now. I mean, I was literally watching, I didn't finish watching the whole thing, but the Georgia governor's race, they have their Democratic primary is they have three candidates. One of them being former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. She also worked under the Trump Biden administration. And then you also have Jeff Dunn, former lieutenant governor of Georgia, longtime Republican, now running as a Democrat. Okay, he did a full party switch. Then there's another gentleman, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name, but he was a longtime state elected official who is running as a he was already a Democrat, but he's running as well. But I mean, Jeff Duncan was a Georgia Republican, y'all, and now he's a Georgia Democrat. I mean, it's so many folks with the switching parties, and there's tons of Republicans that are going to Olivia Troy, who I hope to have on the show very soon. She's a former Mike Pence, former aide to Mike Pence, a longtime Republican that's now running as a Democrat for Congress. George Conway's running as a Democrat, another longtime conservative running as a Democrat in New York, the bluest of the blue. Okay, there's a number of individuals that are leaving their parties, but Alan Dershowitz, again, I'm not shocked, but I'm curious what your guys' thoughts. Do we have some Democratic voters that are a little frustrated with the current Democratic Party? Right? There's still a disconnect between the extreme left and the center left leaning folks, the moderates. This hard. Moderates and progressive, it's a disconnect. The right, you have MAGA and your traditional Republicans. There's a huge disconnect, my friends. But we're gonna talk more about it. I'm gonna extend the conversation about the redistricting aftermath on the next show, because I'm running out of time. But thank you so much for sticking with us here on the Arrington Gavin Show. I truly appreciate it. You know how to follow up with us and tune into more episodes and all that great stuff. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, stay informed, and I will be talking with you all very soon for another great convo here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace and blessings.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.